So you mentioned, I think, one of the slides that you're importing like five, I think around five sources of data, but what are some of the biggest impediments to adopting Avenir? Is it the data or what is it?
It's the data. It's, sometimes, a customer might say, I don't even know where that data is. And that's okay. We can start the process off. And as there's additional discovery to find the data, we can also take very good rules of thumb, on how we set up the database in the absence of data. But when we come across customers, I think there's a perception that it's too big of a change that they want to digest. There's also, maybe a concern about, the accuracy of the data without realizing that we're using their own data to generate this. It's been enlightening to see why people have chosen not to go, with Avenir in some cases.
So how, so who actually takes care of the data migration, you know?
Yeah, Avenir's who takes care of the data migration. We work hand in hand with our customers after they sign the contract. It's, that's kind of the nitty-gritty part that nobody looks forward to, but we're so familiar with it now. We use AI to format, AI to QC, AI to load, and then once all the reports are generated, we use AI to QC back to the source data to make sure we provide a confident solution.
So what I think one of the reports you mentioned was like a morning report.
Right.
What does that do? I mean, is it like I'm assuming you say, hey, they're looking at the morning report because it's like the first thing they should do that day or what? Like why is it
Yeah.
a morning report?
Well, Avenir is a multidisciplinary platform. Accounting can get in and look at it. Engineers can, multiple people can log on. We don't charge by the seat license. I'm just going to choose here 1001 like that. The operations guys are usually the ones who get in here and they want to know. And this is all just sample randomized data. I'm going to take operator off, central battery. But what this shows us here is essentially for October the 1st of 2025, everything generally was doing pretty well. And then as we get more data with the customer, a lot of times they have a bit of a incomplete data set. This, and then what we'll be able to see here over time as the platform evolves is you'll be able to see the tubing and casing trends and then how the forecasts behave according, are they above or below forecast? And it's the combination of those that tell us exactly, and I'm going to go one more month forward. It's a combination of those that tell us what's wrong and where and what's the magnitude of the problem, right? Because nobody needs to drive out to a well with a $15, problem. And we have, say in here, once we have in the current month, and we're going to say 1/2026, this one, using my left hand here, we'll be able to see actually what the forward cash flow is by well. And that's really key is knowing, and here we can see it now is quickly on this one page. If I'm an engineer and I log into this, I can see that out of my 303 wells, 202 are unhealthy, right? So I can come over here and I can click on that 202. It's going to filter for me. And what I can see here is that, I've got a number of wells here that not only are they below forecast, but they're going to lose money at forecast. That's what this negative cash flow is. And it's one of the core pieces that makes Avenir unique is we kind of merge together this concept of volumes and cash flow and well health all on one page here. So you can see here, you can sort, you've got tubing pressure trend, casing pressure trend. Is it above or below forecast for gas and oil? But all of those culminate in one color coded box. It just says, here are your problems.
So I would imagine, obviously you train them on how to use this software and things like that, but can they actually call you and say, hey, do you have any recommendations on what we actually do to fix some of this stuff? I mean,
Yeah.
you're not your typical just software guy that doesn't have, production optims, the cash flow background. So can they actually tap into you for your expertise on actually how to fix some of this stuff?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Is customer success is a very big point for Avenir. And so all of our customers, when they call somebody, they're not going to call a software person. They're not going to call somebody that's an Indian or a Mexico. They're going to call an oil and gas professional, probably out of Fort Worth, to help them navigate through their problem and then maybe even make a suggestion on how to get a better result.
And so, over time, as people learn to, as you said, I think have the moment that you mentioned, which is Oh, wow, this is my own data. It actually reconciles with my old systems and stuff. When does a customer, and does your software end up replacing, or is it just adding to their software stack?
You have options. If you don't like your production software, you can use the Avenirre integrated daily production reporting component. It doesn't cost you anything more. But if you just want it to be a supplemental piece on top of what you already have, we absolutely do that for customers, and it pays for itself within the first 30 days.